So in this battle of Hall of Famer football bottles that we have in front of us,
one of the greatest offensive players of all time versus one of the greatest defensive players of all time.
My pregame pick has got to be Terry Bradshaw, Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm wearing the colors.
By default, then, I guess I have to pick Charles Woodson. I'm not very happy about it, though.
Are you ready for some
whiskey?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Western Wisconsin Whiskey Emporium. I'm Dan.
And I'm Eddie.
And we are today going to be doing a football throwdown of two different bourbons by celebrity endorsers. Your Terry Bradshaw Bourbon, and your Charles Woodson Whiskey. Terry Bradshaw, multiple-time Super Bowl champion, Pittsburgh Steelers, NFL on Fox commentator, guy who will do anything for $1.
Not my dollar, you overgrown throw rug.
Charles Woodson. 75% of the earth is covered by water. The rest is covered by Charles Woodson. Hall of Fame defensive player. Winemaker, actually. I hear his wine is very good, and his wine does play into this bourbon. The Terry Bradshaw Bourbon came out a couple years ago. This is batch 2 that we have. You're at 103.8 proof. Which is pretty nice for a celebrity whiskey.
Yeah.
51.9% alcohol. Crafted in the heart of Kentucky bourbon country. Green River Distilling. Which, in looking them up, I don't think I've ever had anything they've made before. And their website right away is talking about, like, creating private bourbon brands. So I think maybe that's kind of their bread and butter. Aged a minimum of 2 years in new charred oak. The price comes in at about $40. $39.99.
Now, the Charles Woodson whiskey comes in at, I believe it was $32.99, so a little bit cheaper. This one is aged in San Diego. Accelerated aging process. I mean, if you look at the coloration of both these, they both look like they've been around at least for 4 years. Woodson, not so much. 2 years.
Not even 2 years.
Not even 2 years.
Woodson whiskey is aged 6 months with this sonic aging technique that
so
they're
they
doing.
blast sound at it like blackened whiskey with Metallica?
Yeah, and that sucked. So we don't know how this is going to go. And then they finish in his Woodson wine casks after that for a bit. I don't know how long, they don't say. We're in Wisconsin, so we have this green and yellow Green Bay Packers colored one. If you live in other states like California, you'll have a black and gray Raiders. In Michigan, you'll have the blue and yellow.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they brand it based on where it's going, and I think it might be only going to those states where Charles Woodson is somebody that's revered. I mean, he should be revered the world over. He probably is, but they're going for his like built-in fan base.
Okay.
I think they're thinking you're looking for your Sunday football party or your Saturday Michigan football party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to bring the Woodson whiskey out. Call it in the air. Logo, heads. This is tails.
Heads. It was tails.
It's tails. I'm going to defer and let Terry pop first.
Terry's popping first. Fair enough.
We're going to try to come through in the second half.
That was a great pop, actually.
For the Woodson pop. It's tight.
That was kind of a deeper
pop. Charles with a tight cork. Tight coverage on the bourbon.
Since Bradshaw was popped first, we should probably nose the Bradshaw bourbon first.
Looking thin in the glass.
Not a lot of nose on it either.
No, not much. Standard caramel. A little buttery, actually. Like a buttery caramel.
Is that youthful corn popcorn thing going on?
Could be. I generally get that in the taste more than the nose.
But you're saying buttery and caramel.
Little buttery caramel, yeah.
Yeah, like a buttered popcorn thing, maybe. Or you remember those tins of Boy Scout caramel corn?
I remember we got one once, and I was like, man, this guy's a dork. And my mom's like, what are you talking about? It's like this guy on the Boy Scouts thing. What
yeah, because they used to paint like the kids doing Boy Scouts.
Well, these were actual pictures of people on it. And I'm laughing at him, and my mom's like, well, I mean, if you were a little kid, you'd think it was pretty cool to be on the popcorn tin. And I just held it up, and I'm like, this guy's like 19. And she's like, oh, yeah. That's pretty much all I'm picking up. Maybe a little bit of baking spice, but for the most part, it's caramel corn.
Clank 'em and drink 'em?
Pretty thin as expected. Gets a little creamy tasting though.
It does have some of that buttered caramel corn element to it, but there's like this fruit note that comes through on the tail end that really surprised me, actually. Like baking apples, something along that line.
I can see that. Like a little baked apple with some cinnamon.
Yeah.
Apple pie-esque without the crust, just the filling.
Yeah, there is some elements of fruitiness that I wasn't expecting based on the nose.
There's a nice little burn on the tongue, nothing crazy, but that 103 proof, you know, you're getting a little bit there.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, this is much nicer than expected.
For a sub $50 celebrity bourbon. Not horrible. I don't hate it.
No. Wow, even a little on that last sip. It got kind of herbal, a little minty even.
I could see that. On the tail end, right where the Kentucky Hug does come in. It happens.
Yep.
Like a spearmint gum type of thing on the very back end of your tongue. It's bitter, but it complements that apple element that you get on the front of your tongue.
Almost a Four Roses-esque spearmint.
You know, I could see that.
You know,
I could see that.
you know, really, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed by it for being what it is. You're a Steelers fan or whatever, and you're having a football party. I think people would be happy that you brought this over. It's time to switch over to defense.
Blow that whistle, ref. That is different. You remember the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Dreamsicle uniforms? This is orange Dreamsicle. Like creamy, citrusy orange for sure. That's the first thing that like came to mind.
I'm not catching the cream, but there's a lot of orange. Yeah, it's like popsicle orange. It's not like a real orange. It's like orange soda.
It's a strange smell for a whiskey. And I don't know if that's the wine, which we know nothing about. I've never had the Charles Woodson wine.
On continued sniffing, some of that wine characteristic is coming through. I mean, we're at the floor, 40% alcohol by volume, so there's no burn.
Part of me kind of hopes that it tastes like what it smells like.
I mean, that would at least be interesting. Bouquet of flowers kind of smell to it. That might be coming off the wine, too. Interested to taste this.
All right, let's clink them and drink them.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
I'm getting some of that orange dreamsicle thing. I am
too. But I'm getting that youthful, popcorny thing. And then it gets taken over by the orange dreamsicle thing. I mean, it's not offensive.
I don't know what you would mix this in to make like a drink out of because it's different.
Well, you could do it. You could do like an old fashioned with it.
And I don't hate it. Like you don't like it, but this, it has a bit of a creaminess to it, or maybe my mind thinks that because it goes to dreamsicle.
I think your mind's thinking that. Because I didn't smell any type of creaminess, and I'm certainly not tasting any kind of creaminess. Orange. The orange comes through. That's got to be from the wine. I don't know what kind of wine he makes.
Now that I've kind of had a second sip of it, I can kind of see what you're talking about with the youthful corn in that bitterness. I don't know if I've had too many like accelerated aging whiskeys.
I don't think I've had any. We've got one sitting back there that we're going to have to try eventually.
This is very different. You don't seem to like it at all.
No.
I'm like, meh, like... It was sub $40. You're kind of dealing with that range that's okay. You know, like you can take an L on that. I don't think like it's really a regrettable purchase.
Well, I didn't buy it, so I feel no regrets, but I would never buy this again. Whereas Bradshaw Bourbon, I could see buying another bottle of it. If it was like on sale or something at a store, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that was decent. Woodson whiskey, that's a one and done for me. This does feel like cash grab whiskey, though. It feels like he already had his wine brand and whoever came up to him was like, hey, we can do this. I got distracted while I was talking there because I was looking at the back of the bottle here. I don't know how well this will come up. It just has a really large 6. You see like aged 6 and you're like, oh, 60 months. To me, the winner is clear.
Like you're getting those bourbon notes that you don't get out of the Woodson whiskey.
Oh, yeah. It's so much better.
If you like orange dreamsicle, though, I mean, give it a shot. If a bar has it.
Yeah, you might find this on a bar, like during a Packer game special.
So it sounds like it's pretty unanimous. Would not buy it again. Probably would buy it again. Bradshaw for the win.
Yeah. Another championship for Terry Bradshaw. Have you had either of these? Just let us know in the comments what you think of them. If you agree with our decision or if you feel like defense wins championships, let us know. If you haven't yet, hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, keep those numbers going up. That's always good to see. And we'll be here again next week doing some more stuff.
From the Western Wisconsin Whiskey Emporium for ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
I'm going to go for a fumble here.
Oh, no. Really?
Yep.
Bradshaw dominates.
Bradshaw dominates even in that. I'll go buy some Prilosec OTC or whatever the fuck he's slinging these days.